so we know that you're in here with us. What was it like in here for you?
Hi everybody, it's Neil from Flames Pyro Art Tutorials. Just doing a little bit of videoing of the layering process of a piece that I'm working on at the minute, which is a horse, as you can see. I just thought I would show beginners and people the process involved in layering a piece of art up. As you can see with the horse, there's a way to go yet, but to try and get some shape and definition to the horse's body, you have to spend a great deal of time building up layers of shading to try and get the look that you're after. Hope everybody's warm in this weather. It is absolutely freezing in the UK at the minute. I know downstairs in our house it's like sitting outside. It's so cold. I think we got to like -10 or more overnight. I think with a wind chill factor today, it feels in the minuses, definitely out there again. It was so cold, in fact, that I've moved my studio now from outside in the shed where I used to live. It was just too cold, and the wind chill and everything. Spent a good 13 months in there, but for now I've actually got a room in the house, which is nice. I've got a bit more space. So as you can see at the minute, I'm just dabbing with the space shader. I've got it set on number 3 on the Optima. Pen's heated up nicely at the minute. So I've got the heater on in here and it's nice and warm. And we're just laying down some of this horse's fur. Well, you've got a fur, a coat. The trick is to get a base layer down in the direction you want to go. And once you've got your base layer down, then you can start looking at shaping your piece of art by adding more layers over the top of the base coat that you've put down. I mean, horses are brilliant animals to do pyrography work with, because they've got so many muscle tones and different shapes to them. It's a shame I picked one really with a side-on view. Would love to have done like the full body, maybe in landscape, and picked out all the muscles and depth and everything. I may do a portrait of a horse, more side-on, so we can capture all of the muscles and the shapes and contours of these beautiful animals' muscular bodies. As you can see with the layering process, it's just constantly going over and over the wood, building up layers of great thing with wood, you may not think it does, but it does actually. You can build layers on top of each other with your pyrography, much like you can with graphite on paper. You can do the same with your pyrography equipment. Once you've got a base coat down, is then when you can look at your picture and try and replicate some of the shapes and the contours. The picture that you're working from. I've got the picture on a tablet that you can't see on camera. It's my reference picture. Been working on this piece on and off for maybe about 4 or 5 days now. I'd always wanted to burn a horse. It sounds weird, doesn't it? Burning a horse. I don't mean it. I would do a pyrography portrait of a horse because they are such amazing animals to make any art portrait of, due to all the muscle tones and the different shapes that the horse has to his body. Well, we're on 5 minutes. We'll go for half an hour or so and let you just watch some of the layering process of this. We've got this area here that you can see that's still white. Still trying to get a feel for how I want that to look. So I haven't dared touch it yet. Sure, a lot of artists can understand that. There's certain areas that you just can't get a feel for the shape of what you want to try and create. You just avoid it and work in other areas. then you can go into some really fine detail after you've got all your base down. Is then the top coat is where you can add detail to your burn, just by using the tip of your shader. Just tilt it ever so slightly so you're just using more of the edge. And there's more heat coming through the edge of the pen on the thinner parts of it. And it's Saturday afternoon. Nice and quiet in the house at the minute. I do personally do pyrography every day, 7 days a week. I will sit practicing different animals, different objects. I've done cars, motorbikes, houses, flowers. Flowers is a really good one. I'm going to do a tutorial in the next day or two with a flower that I found, and be able to explain in a bit more detail how we can push things back and bring things looking forward through wood burning. So that might be able to help a few beginners to understand, because I do see some pictures on some of the Facebook groups of people who've done flowers, and there's nothing wrong with them, but if they just tweaked a few techniques, they could take them flowers to a whole new level. So we'll do it on we'll do just one single flower. It's got a lot of petals on it, and we should be able to get some good detail going on and explain a bit more about how we can make a flower look like it's got real depth. So that's what every artist is searching for with every piece of art they do, is depth. That's the word that everybody uses and searches for. Depth and contour. You want to try and make your work look 3D, even though it's flat. All artists will tell you that they're permanently looking for depth. And you don't create depth, sadly, within an hour or two or half a day. You know, it can take many days to build up the shape and the depth of a piece. So pyrography is definitely, well, like any art form, it's definitely, you have to have a lot of patience. Sometimes you'll get it wrong. Other times you'll get it spot on and make an amazing piece. And the time it could be a total flop. I know I personally have done some pieces that I was really looking forward to, and it turned out a load of rubbish. There's one I've been working on which I'll get out of the drawer and just show you. I've spent, I've got drawers now. I spent a while on this piece and I haven't finished it yet. As you can see, it's a soldier with a memorial, what do you call it, cenotaph behind him, walking in through a park. We have a nurse or a key worker sitting on the floor, exhausted, and it's a piece I started a while ago, and for some reason I got bored of it and moved on to something else. I felt like I got lost with the direction I was going, so sometimes it's good to just put things to one side, come back to them later. I did spend a good bit of time on this soldier, building all of the body depth to his coat and his gun and his bag behind him. Spent a good few hours on this piece. But that's one that I am working on for finishing. It originally started off with just a soldier, and then it turned into the war on COVID, really. Not even sure if I'm allowed to say that word on camera. I think some of them have said you don't say it, so we won't mention it again. But it's a commemorative piece that I will go back to and finish at some point. It's one of the teachers I like to watch who told me it was a good idea to have several projects on the go at any one time. So if you lose focus and impetus, or you just get sick of doing one piece, or your eyes get lazy towards it, you can put it to one side and work on one of the other pieces that you've got on the go. I know we started doing the dog's eyes of a French bulldog on a tutorial the other day, and there's still a lot more work to do on the eyes, so I will do a part 2 of the dog's eyes tutorial. As we see with this horse, he's takes a lot of time just dabbing away. Building up your base coat, I'm just using more of the 3/4 tip. At the minute I've got it on an angle, so I'm using more of the spear point. Just like try and dab in the effect of short pieces of fur that a horse would have. Horses have very short, tight hair, don't they? So we have to just dab in. We'll be putting many more videos up as I get better at teaching, so for all new pyrographers out there, bear with me. I will get better as a teacher, as passing on some of the knowledge that I've gained over this year and a bit now of creating pyrography artwork. Like I said, I have no art degree, no art background whatsoever. It was just by chance. That I started pyrography. My wife bought me a basic pyrography set, either for my birthday or Christmas. I think it was my birthday. And so at the time I was wood carving, and one day I just thought I'll just see what this pyrography tool thing does. And took an instant like to it, and haven't stopped since. Every day. So in the 13-14 months now that I've been doing pyrography, I've crammed in a good few years worth of learning into that time period, because I've done it every single day. And that is a key to getting better at any art form, is practice. Unless you've just got this natural gift, which some people will have, where they can just pick something up and just do it. Just comes natural to them. My wife was like that with graphite art. She just a natural, she'd never drawn before. And she wanted a portrait of our first Chihuahua. And at the time we couldn't afford the prices that artists were charging for dog portraits, so she decided to try and do it herself. Her first attempt was average, so this is no word of a lie, she spent one evening, just one night, watching YouTube, watching people draw, teaching how to draw. The next day she did the portrait again, and it was absolutely stunning. It was, you know, quality enough to sell. It was that good. Just overnight, something unlocked in her brain, and she could just create. And she's sold now hundreds and hundreds of pet portraits all around the world. I'm really proud of her. She's a brilliant artist. If you want to check her out, it's DD's Art, DIDIZ Art. Very gifted graphite and colour pencil artist who was just naturally talented. Again, no art degree, no art background. She was always like, you know, arts and crafts. She's always good at making little things and stuff, but she took it to a whole new level. And she had many people asking her to do portraits of their pets. The website sadly is down now, but she is on Facebook. She's got a lot of her work on YouTube, where she's done time lapses of some of the many portraits she's worked on. Where they're only like a couple of minutes long, but it shows you the whole process and speeded up of how she created some amazing portraits for people. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with this horse when I finish with all the outside of it. I was thinking perhaps of wood staining all around the outside of the horse. And then seal it with either a gloss or a matte sealant over the top of that, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see what the finished product looks like first. Down along this area is where his part of the horse's neck meets and crosses over with this area that goes down and round at the front. I think that's going to be one of the last areas to tackle. I just thought I'd show you some of the process behind layering. All a lot of artists work a lot quicker than I do, but I think by spending time working a bit slower on lower heat and building your layers up, at the end it shows it, you know, at the back end of the portrait, hopefully that time and effort will shine through a bit more. I mean, you could turn the heat up and do your work quicker. I like to work on a lower heat. And then get a real feel for the subject I'm doing. A word you'll hear a lot is muscle memory. Muscle memory is where I suppose what it sounds like, your brain taps into what it is that you're trying to achieve, and you become accustomed to moving your muscles and your hand in that shape, and that's only done by spending time building that muscle memory. You know, if you were to burn a piece quickly, you won't build the muscle memory up. That comes from spending many hours on a piece. One of the pet portraits I do for people usually takes me around 7 to 10 days to do a portrait of a dog. If you tell people from the outset, you know, you're not going to rush, you're going to take your time, then most people are more than happy to wait, you know, because they know that you're taking the time to create them a more special piece of art, rather than you say, no, yeah, we'll have it done in 2 days or whatever for you. Pyrography sadly doesn't work like that. Not if it's done properly, if it's done the way it's meant to be, which is spending the time to build up the layers. So we'll leave it there for today. I will carry on layering this horse up, and I may check in with you at the back end of this piece if there's anything more I can show you or teach you through this piece near the end. Then I'll put a video up. Okay, so I shall speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of my lessons, if you hit subscribe, I will be putting more and more lessons up over the coming weeks. I'm aiming to try and get a couple out a week for beginners. So watch this space, okay? Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. This is Neil from Flames Pyro Art, signing off. Speak to you soon.